Carol and Cheryl, Cheryl and Carol, Carol and Cheryl.
Hello, welcome back to Conversations with Carol and Cheryl. How are you, Carol?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Cheryl?
Good. Today we have a future internet sensation ready to happen, and she has a YouTube cooking channel, Tetes Kitchen, and she's here to talk with us today and give us some background about her and her YouTube channel. And so welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be part of this Carol and Cheryl podcast.
Thank you. We're delighted to have you. So you have Tete's Kitchen on YouTube. And how'd that get started? What made you want to do that?
I'm a very active person, and I come from a family that is a very warming and like to welcome people all the time. I'm from Brazil, actually, and my whole family in Brazil, we like to entertain people, we like to cook, and everything around my house was around the kitchen. All the meetings were around the kitchen, around food, around everything. So I grew up with a lot of cooking and talking at the same time. So when we started this COVID area here for 2 years, that really hit us really hard because kids are gone, empty nest. I started becoming, really restless. What I'm going to do inside this house, what I'm going to do. I have another business that one day we're going to talk about it. But then I say, I can't just be sitting on the couch. I needed to do something. And part of my personality is always reinvent myself. And to reinvent and to really start something, you really needed to be truth to yourself. You really needed to search your soul. And a lot of people can relate it to me this way because sometimes we keep thinking, am I doing everything I can? Is this my whole power? Am I being really what I'm supposed to be?
Right.
Do you guys related to this?
Yes.
Sometimes you're doing well in something and then you still question yourself. You say, I can do better. I can do something else, but I don't have an opportunity or I don't have the guts to do or something, So we keep thinking about ourselves that people don't know. We don't let people know who we are and all our potential. And I think this is the worst phase when you go to reinvent yourself is to be truth. To look inside yourself and thinking, am I supposed really to do that? I can really do that by myself, or I need this help, or I can even need help. Help is a good thing. You can go up and have all the success in life, but you don't have anybody up there to share with you, to cheer with you in life, to rejoice and congratulate and celebrate your victories. What good is that? So we always need to surround ourselves with people that really are helpful. So I start thinking, and I said, well, that's just my husband and I here. And I decide, he was kind of depressed too, because that's all he does is work. And then we couldn't get out of the house because of the COVID. And I said, instead of fighting, let's do something together. Because, if you don't do something together, you start fighting. So I decided to get in the corner of my kitchen and start cooking some Brazilian food. And my friends really enjoyed the first video. And they keep sending me texts. Okay, do this other recipe that we ate in your house. Do this. Because see, for me, cooking is an art. And art is love. Everything you like to express yourself, you can do in art, you can do in cooking, because you can do the same recipe You can give the same recipe to someone, and the plate won't come out the same way because everybody has their own touch. So if you ask to decorate plates of salad, you give them the same ingredients. Everyone is going to come up with something different, how they rearrange the vegetables on the plate. So it's always like that, you know. So I decided to do, and I did the first one, and I like to joke, I like to sing, I like to dance like a good Brazilian. And it's a baby. This is still a baby. I don't know where it's gonna go with this, but I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. One day I got up and said, John, that's it. We are going to do this today. And I start doing again and again, and I receive another text. Please do this recipe. Please do this recipe. And it's funny when you don't cook with the recipe, you always reinventing the recipe too. So I always put a new ingredient. I never know what I did in the next one. So to do it again. But I have fun. I have fun in doing it.
So how did you learn how to cook?
Well, we are in 3 sisters in my house. My dad always said, I didn't have a boy, so I want to teach all of you everything about cars, everything about anything I would teach a boy, I want to teach you. So I was the first one to raise my hand. I wanted to learn everything. So I was never really into the kitchen with my mom. My sister, my middle sister, was always with my mom cooking. But see, they need help. So I would be just washing their dishes. And Sonia, my middle sister, she just was straight with my mom all the time cooking. But just for looking, just for observing my mom and Sonia cooking, we learn for osmosis. It's just there. It was just there. And when I got married, I really didn't know if I really knew how to cook, because I didn't have opportunity to do my own dish in my house, because it was always my sister, and the young sister was just helping me to dry and dishes and put the dishes away. When I got my own kitchen after getting married, I started cooking. I said, well, I didn't burn this rice. Oh, I didn't burn these beans. So I might know what to do. Just for, looking. And then I called my mom and said, Mom, I thought I didn't know how to cook, but I know. I was so
pleased
surprised.
Oh.
Yeah. I was surprised that I ended up cooking and without burning things. I thought, that's a plus.
So how does your husband like your cooking?
Well, this was one of my requirements. My husband is American and I am Brazilian. So I had dated other guys and they were pretty much shut down on food. They wanted to eat just really the food that they were accustomed to. What I didn't mind, because I live here, I like American food, but then I would, talk to them and other people, and they were not open to really try. But then when I met John, he was open to everything. So that was a plus on our relationship. Even to travel, he was very knowledgeable of other countries and everything. So that was a plus for me. I knew I was going to be able to merge or mash both cultures.
So you like to cook, he liked to eat.
Yes.
You guys were a match made in heaven.
that is really a plus that happened in this relationship, because, I start cooking. He likes everything I cook. So sometimes I really do cook a hamburger for him or something from the scratch, just to make him happier. And I see that he eats this hamburger with such a joy. And I keep thinking, yes, it's embedded in his culture, but he really enjoyed my cooking too.
Oh, that's great. So when you had your daughters, were they interested in cooking too, or not so much?
That was a hard thing for me to try to teach them, because they went boarding school. And boarding school in our church is a it's a plus for our kids because we keep them in the same community with the same principles and philosophy. For an outsider, it's not a plus. When I would tell my friends that wasn't used to this, they would say, "Why you sent to a boarding school?" Like they were going to a rehab or something. And I had to explain, no, this is a school made for them, catering for them in our philosophy of life and principles and everything. So going away right at the time for 4 years in high school, that took their interest in cooking. So it was hard, but every time they come home to visit, they wanted to eat the special dishes that they like that I do. So now they are calling me from their home and say, "Mommy, how I do that?" Then I go over with them step by step. So now they are grown up, they can call me back and say how I do that. But really, I didn't have the opportunity to teach them cooking.
Right, but they're still pretty young.
Yes.
So they
yes.
could come around, right?
Exactly. They are. The other day, Ashley wanted to do, Ashley is my youngest one. She wanted to do salmon for her friend. And we stay on FaceTime for an hour and 30 minutes. I had it to go one step at a time with this kid. She didn't know even how to hold the salmon. So I said, that's going to be a challenge, Ashley, but you willing to go through? Let's do it. So we spent an hour and a half. It was fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
You should tell her to
awesome.
watch your YouTube channel.
Well, now they are. Now they are. They are both graphic designers. So they are really enjoying. And one day they were here visiting and I was taping and I said, wow, now I have more people watching. So so I said I need all the input I can get now from you guys. And they really enjoy my funny things and the way I laugh, the way I dance. So for them, I'm very spontaneous. So it's easy.
So your channel's almost like a visual cookbook.
Yes, actually, yes. I tell John just put the recipe under, and they click after they subscribe, they will have the recipe. But the fun part is like my friends text me and say, "Oh, after this COVID area, it's so nice to laugh about something."
Yes.
Because I'm not really, really just cooking. I'm kind of being entertaining.
Yep.
So I didn't even know I was good in doing this. And people are telling me that they are enjoying. So I figure out, I thought I was really just for us here at the beginning. And see, that's the point. I want to go back to what I said in the beginning. You really need to search your soul. Human beings are so capable of so many things. Just give yourself a try. If you have an idea in your head, try to really give your opportunity to yourself. Glue on people that you look up to. Have a mentor. Go to someone and say, "Look, I really like how you do this thing. Can you just teach me?" I'm sure 99% of people will say yes to you.
Is interesting about what you said is first we get married and we're a wife and we're playing house. Then we have our kids and we're a mom and our purpose is our kids. And it's not until now, later in life, when we're empty nesters, do we really have a chance to even look at that part of ourselves and say, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? What are
Exactly.
my passions? And to even think about that. So we're forced kind of into it. We're pushed off a cliff because I know I would much rather be focusing on my kids than
Oh, yes.
trying to reinvent myself.
Our motherhood hormones flourish when we have babies. Then we forget ourselves.
Yes.
For like 20 years of our lives is all about our kids. I remember after school, I would be driving like crazy, like a lunatic. Now I see myself like a Uber driver. was like a Uber driver, taking them everywhere. I said, what? What did I do to you guys? I was an Uber for free. Uber drive for free. I took you to swimming lessons. I took you to ballet lessons, to taekwondo lessons. By the way, I said, you know what? You're learning how to kick. I want to learn how to kick too. So I entered in the same class as them, and we completed the taekwondo together. So I ended up having my black belt
Wow, good for you.
in taekwondo when I was 40 years old. But because of them. If I had to sit there waiting for them and looking at them kicking someone, I said, I want to kick it too. So I went in the class.
Good for you.
Yeah, it took me 3 years, but I got it.
Well, I think it's really cool what you're doing. And you're obviously a very good cook, and you're really passionate about your recipes and what you're making. And that comes through in your videos.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I wish there was a way that I could reach into the screen and taste what you're making.
When I sort my recipes, I try pick up the recipes that are very easy and less ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So because when we come home, we don't want to get too much elaborate things. We don't want to do too long. We are hungry. We need to do this. We need to do that. So I try to get common ingredients that we have already in the house.
Yeah.
So once you guys do, you can take a picture and send it to me, and we can talk about it, because I'm sure it's never going to be the same look as I have on my plate, because like I said, food is an art. Everybody has their own touch. That's the beauty of it.
Well, you make it look so easy in the videos. Seriously, you make it look so doable. When I watch it, I'm like, I could do that.
That's what I thought too. I love the idea that you have common ingredients and it's not a whole lot, but it's a great meal at the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to send it to my daughter. She can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That eggplant recipe looks so good. With mozzarella cheese, and it just looks so delicious and so easy.
And I forgot one ingredient there. We're supposed to put fresh basil.
Oh.
And I completely forgot the basil. And the basil was behind my kitchen counter. And I looked, once we finished taping, I said, here's the basil I was looking for. And I couldn't mention because I thought I didn't have the basil. So, so reinvent that recipe and put the basil on top.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. So what message do you have for our listeners about cooking? There is like one takeaway from this. What would you say to them?
If you feel like testing yourself and say, I can do this, just do it. Just do it. The result will be so rewarding that you're going to be surprised with yourself. Like I was surprised with myself when I first did my first meal when I got married. I had no idea. In my head, I said, I'm going to do like a lot of my friends, burn things, do everything. One of my friends said, I don't know how to cook beans. I put beans on the fry pan. She had no idea. I thought I was going to make huge mistakes. But see, try yourself. Go to a zone that's not your comfortable zone. Get out your comfortable zone and try to do something a little different. Don't do too much. Don't try to go overboard, but just do a little bit different. You're going to see the result, the reaction of people around you. And that's the huge feedback you get.
I think we found that with our podcast, because Carol and Cheryl a year ago were not podcasters. Mm-hmm. We were like you. We were moms. Mm-hmm. Then we were empty nesters, and we're like, okay, what are we going to do? One thing that we can do really, really well is talk.
Mm-hmm. So why not?
So we just record conversations,
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody has something to tell to each other that can help each other. If you start talking to your friend, it's always if you have time to listen, if you develop the listening behavior, because sometimes we just want to talk, 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 talk. But if we develop this listening behavior, we're going to see we learn so much.
And isn't it so gratifying talking with other women, that connection that we have? I
Yes.
mean, our husbands are great, our men are great. I'm not saying they're not wonderful because
They
they
have
are.
their places.
Exactly. But the girl time is very rewarding too.
Yes. Yes.
And like you said in the beginning, women gather in the kitchen. That's where we gather.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's where we find ourselves. Well, maybe sometimes in a bar, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Because, food and love and connection are all together. My personal life, I never enter in a restaurant alone. For me, it was a sin. I would die if I would get out, enter in a restaurant. Have you ever, one of you or listening, have you ever felt that way? I cannot get into a restaurant and eat alone. I couldn't. I would buy from the restaurant and eat on my car.
Why is that?
I had no idea how to enjoy myself alone because I grew up with so many people around me. I never had alone time. I had to learn this. I had to learn that my own company would be okay at the restaurant. I would be so embarrassed. I would say, what people would be thinking of me? I don't have anybody to come and share a meal. But then my psychiatrist, my psychologist, we always need someone in life to talk sometimes. So she pointed out to me, you just look into one side. Why don't you look to another side? Enjoy your own company. That was hard for me because of my personality. But I started observing around and sometimes I see one person eating alone in the restaurant. I keep watching and she looks like happy. And I said, man, she's happy. And I was miserable. She learned how to, enjoy herself, love herself. So that was one of the hardest things for me is to eat alone because I never learned that.
Do you do it now?
I don't think I'm ready to do it now. I'm still not ready.
I love it.
I'm the youngest of 5 and I love it.
I love it too.
Let
I'm
me
the
get
oldest
the
of 5.
hell out of here.
Oh, this is so nice. One day I hope I can learn that because my psychologist said one day, look to this angle, enjoy your presence. When someone is a giver, when we have so many things to do just for our kids, we don't even stop to try to learn to take care of ourselves. Now is the time.
Absolutely. So that's your homework.
Yeah, that's
I
my
want
homework.
you to go to a restaurant, get a table.
Exactly.
Put your
my
phone
goodness.
down.
I think I'm gonna lose my appetite with myself.
Once you get in there and you start people watching, you're going to forget all about that. You're going to watch couples and you can definitely tell the second wife because they're having conversation. He really cares what she's saying. So that thing is a second wife. When you see this, they're looking at the paper or looking at each other, put it down. First wife.
They're in between arguments. That's what I say. They're in between arguments.
Yeah. If I can eavesdrop a little bit, I like to eavesdrop. Oh, yeah. You'll completely forget that you're by yourself once you start looking.
Oh, my goodness. The only time I try, let me tell you what happened. I end up talking to the waiters of the whole thing. And I forgot to eat my food. I paid for the food. And I said, you know what? I enjoy meeting you. Here's your tip. Oh, man. She was a student at University of Maryland. I end up giving $50 tip to this student because I love her story. And I said, I don't need to eat. I just had a nice talk with you. my God.
There you go. That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, it was so funny.
You made her day, that's for sure.
Exactly. But I didn't make mine. I ended up hungry.
Well, I think you bring up a good point. We have to learn how to receive,
Yes.
and even if that means giving to ourselves,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm not good at it either. I'm more of a giver and a caretaker and a listener. But when I give to myself, I do feel really good. It's not always in my budget, though.
Just enjoy yourself. Try to learn how to love yourself, take care of yourself in any stage of your life. Because this is a process of learning. We
Yes.
don't learn this. As a woman, we are not, wired to really just take care of ourselves.
We're not taught to either.
Exactly. We see our mothers do everything for us, or for the family, or for whoever comes in our way. And we think we are supposed to behave nothing bad on that. But we neglect a lot ourselves. And then when time comes to really enjoy ourselves, we don't know how to.
I remember there was an actress. I can't remember her name right now, but it really stuck with me. She had a daughter, and she said when the daughter's like, "Can I have that?" Like one of the last things on her plate or something like that. She tells her, "No, I'm going to eat it." And she said, "Because my mom used to give it to me." And she goes, "And I didn't want to teach her to put herself last or to do without, for someone else." And I thought, wow, that's pretty
That's
good.
great.
Anyway, it's Terry Hatcher was the one that said it. Anyway,
Mm.
that always stuck with me, but it's still very hard to I still give my kids, yeah, if you want to take it. But I do remember that, in other areas if I can, or, anyway, it just stuck with me. I thought it was really good advice if you can do it. How long have you been doing your YouTube cooking show? And did it give you the reward that you were looking for?
We are very, very in the beginning. This is a baby yet.
Okay.
We have about, I think, 6 shows. That's all. But the first one, in about, I think, 2 hours, I had 200 views.
Wow.
So was like, oh, what we are hitting here. So I continue doing it. Let's see where it goes. The most important part is we are having fun. I'm having fun. And as long as I receive some feedback, the people saying, oh, this is doing well, and I really enjoy and laugh at you with the things you say and joke, and I'll keep doing it.
I want to make sure our listeners go to Tetes Kitchen. Don't forget.
Yep. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put it in our description, a link to your YouTube channel.
Yes, and remember, try the recipe. Get out of your comfortable zone.
I love that message.
Maybe people can send us their pictures. Tag us on Instagram and Facebook once they make it.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So hashtag Tete's Kitchen.
Yes.
Put your pictures out there and let us see your love, your art, your creations.
Exactly. Because each one of us are made with different DNAs, different taste, different touch, and the beauty is on the differences.
And also go to a restaurant by yourself and let us know how that went.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Update us.
The next time we talk, I'll let you know how the experience went.
We should all go to a restaurant together and sit at separate tables.
Oh my goodness.
That would be fun.
I think I'll go order just a salad to eat fast and get out of there. But that's the first step.
It is a first step. Just get an appetizer.
Baby step, yeah.
Well, I went to a restaurant recently with one of my girlfriends, and the hostess came over and she goes, "We have a time limit and your time is up here." That's how long we were sitting in there talking.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I've never been kicked out before.
Oh, yes. We are the last one to leave a restaurant.
Yeah, it was a little humiliating, but I left a really, really generous tip. So I didn't feel bad. Well, anyway, Tete, it's really been great having you on the show.
Thank you. It was so wonderful to me too.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your wisdom. And we hope that your channel is successful so we can continue to have our visual cookbook and try different things that you introduce to us. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Carol and Cheryl, I also wanted to congratulate you guys for your podcast. I did my research and it's doing very well. So see you also reinvent yourselves.
Yes.
That's a great thing.
Thank you. We're glad you liked the show. We're glad you came on too. It's really been a pleasure.
We've met to meet a lot of interesting people such as yourself. It's just amazing. We've gotten great information from people. And like here, your show is about cooking, but it turns into much more, finding yourself. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. So, it just goes beyond what the title is. It's great. It's really great.
Because food is related to relationships. When I went to the Middle East, I learned a lot about food and talking. Most of their deals are made over lunch, over meals. They don't go to the offices. So they just talk over a meal, hours and hours.
That's true.
And the Asians are the same thing too. They talk over a meal.
Have any other wisdom for us before we close?
For now, that's it. Just always try to search your soul. Be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to find something else that you can do too, and you're going to be surprised.
Yeah. All right.
Advice. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great seeing you again, Cheryl.
Yeah, good seeing you. Thank you for coming on the show, Tete.
Thank you so much. Carol and
Cheryl,
right. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Carol and Cheryl, thank you. Carol and Cheryl, thank you.